World Social Work Day is the key day in the year that social workers worldwide stand together to celebrate their achievements of the profession and take the theme message into their communities, workplaces, and to their governments to raise awareness of the social work contributions and need for further action. Joining us on set to tell us all about World Social Work Day is National Family Services Division Representative Farisha Mohammed. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
When is World Social Work Day and what does it celebrate?
World Social Work Day is celebrated every third Tuesday in March. It celebrates the work and promotes what social workers do to enhance communities around the country. Each year, biannually, there's a theme. This year, for the second year, the theme is promoting community and environmental sustainability. Yeah.
So what exactly do you all do in communities?
So in communities, we go and we have outreaches, giving clients various know-hows with regard to letting them know if there's an issue, bringing awareness to different issues that communities as well as families will experience. So we do that through public outreaches. To narrow it down, what we do with families is that we counsel, we advocate on behalf, we facilitate persons, we even do placements, we assist with drug rehabilitation, various issues that arise that a family may be faced with. That is what we do basically. So we first start with families, individuals, families, and then we go out to wider communities.
Okay, how effective would you say the work of a social worker is in really assisting some family who has experienced some sort of traumatic incident?
Well, we are very effective if you have clients who are willing to work with us. That is the key to a successful case, a successful outcome. You have to have the person willing to let us into their lives and let us say, yes, this is how. You may know how to do something, you may know how you're feeling, but you just don't have the correct avenue, or you're not aware of the correct avenue in which to overcome that. So a traumatic experience, you may be faced with a death of a loved one, murder, anything like that. And we are there to assist with the psychosocial needs. That is to help rehabilitate your emotions.
Right. Well, this is actually a topic that we've been discussing here at significant length on CTV, and you coming here, it's actually quite valuable to hear your perspective and the sort of work that you all engage in. So I'd say, for instance, we've had, just last year, we've had an insane case where a mother lost her only child through murder. That child's throat was slit. In a case like that, and we often hear, you talk to parents and you ask them, so what are you living for? The first thing they say, I live for my child.
Yes.
I work hard to support my child and to ensure that my future generation is well taken care of. In a case like that, where a mother has lost her only child, what sort of hope can you offer?
We can't pretend that we can bring back the child. That's the first thing. We as social workers, we can't give a client false hope. So what we can't deal with the client and say that we can bring back your child, but what we try to do is we try to help them cope and to move on, not forget the memories that you have. So yes, you would not go out and encourage a client to celebrate the child's birthday with a big birthday party or whatever, but there may be something that they can do to commemorate that day, like whether it's a good deed, it's according to the client's personality as well, whether it's a good deed for somebody else, or have something to commemorate the child with, or do a favorite event that you had. But we don't encourage that you forget about your child, because that is an impossibility. But what we can do is that we help them cope with their emotions, because at that time a parent may not know what emotion they're feeling. They may not know if they're happy, they're sad, they're frustrated, they're angry. So that is where we try to kind of disseminate everything and help them deal with emotions one at a time. So we're not giving them that hope that you're going to see a child again, but what we're going to do is give them the hope that you have to live for you now, and live how your child would have wanted you to live if they were here, and try to go through that process. And again, it's peace. it's according to the client space that we work with. So we can't run ahead of that person and say, well, a year has passed, you need to stop grieving now. We can't do that, because grieving is a process that each person has their own time frame.
What sort of support system is ideal in an instance like this?
We promote as much social support as possible. So that is with family members as well as professionals. So we may see that if somebody comes to National Family Services and we realize that, okay, it's going into a psychological thing so much that it may turn to a mental disorder, then we know to partner with a medical social worker, psychiatric social worker, so that this person can be evaluated and treated before the situation gets out of hand. So as I said before, each client, each situation is different. So we take the approach differently as the need arises.
We've seen a lot of cases where someone has died through unfortunate circumstances, in the event of a murder or accident, etc.
Right.
And family members, many family members that you talk to, they tend to say, well, they communicate with the person still. What sort of advice do you have? Is that a cause for concern?
In some cases, yes, it's a cause of concern, and it goes back to morals and beliefs more so.
Religious beliefs?
Right, religious, as well as, you know, some communities, they have their own beliefs whereby they will talk to the dead, they will do those things, you know. They believe that they communicate, they can dream the person, and we don't take that away from them. If that is what you want to flow with, yes, we're going to go with it. But as I said, if we figure that it's not, well, not figure, but assess that it is a mental disorder, then we do the referral to the wellness centers so that they will be able to do an evaluation in the event of a psychological disorder.
Okay. Let's look at the approach that you would take when treating adults as opposed to children. We're seeing a lot of murder-suicides as a result of domestic disputes, and children are left without parents. They are orphans, essentially. How do you even begin to approach a situation like that?
Right. So with children, it's a lot more complicated, because a child doesn't easily go to an adult, especially after a traumatic experience, and the fact that we as social workers, we are new to the environment, we are strangers, so we can't just jump in and ask a child, well, your mommy died, your daddy died, how you doing, and those things. But you have to enable that child to become comfortable with you. So we use various strategies whereby we may give them something to color, we may buy them a storybook, we may do certain things within the office and allow that child to become comfortable at their own pace with you, without just jumping in and saying, now is the time for you to talk. And when that child builds that trust with you, then we can take an approach and assess the situation to see how we move forward from there.
Are you all in any way connected to the Children's Authority? Is there a link?
We are not connected with the Children's Authority. However, we do network with them. If there's a case that they think that there's need for family intervention, they will do referrals to us. If we think that it's a case that we can't handle because of the type of abuse or anything that goes on with the child, we refer to them because of the legal aspects of it. So, yeah.
What makes it quite difficult to really tap into the emotions of someone who's experiencing significant amount of not just grief but trauma? How do you begin with something like that? So it's not just grief, but somebody lost someone because of a murder, for instance. What is a different approach that you would take in dealing with someone who is just grieving, as opposed to someone who now has a mixture of grief and trauma?
Well, as I highlighted before, based on the fact that a person experiences that level of trauma, we have to allow them to feel the way they are feeling, because at that time there will be a lot of anger in most cases when you have lost.
Anger.
Right. So that's what we help them to go through, that process of expressing that emotion. I'm angry. Why am I angry? Based on those things, tell us what can we do to assist you, because at the end of the day, as I said before, it's how the client feels and the pace they are willing to work at. We have to work with that pace. We can't run ahead. We can't tell them, okay, stop feeling angry now. So it's based on those things we have to, but we have to be mindful that this person lost a loved one through a very traumatic experience, and we have to connect with that client at that level and not say, oh, well, it's just another one. We can't be insensitive and say that. It has to be that we are working with our client based on their feelings and not ours.
So no two situations may be identical.
None.
The approach would be different.
None. In each case, everything is different, because you may have a domestic violence case and it's a single parent, but she has a visiting partner. So it may not affect a child, because the child may not be aware of what is happening, because the abuse happens outside of the home. Whereby if you have both parents, a nuclear family, and the child is a secondary victim, because he or she sees that this abuse is taking place, and they will feel that sort of connection to either parent who is being abused and feel that hurt and anger and so forth, and that's how the cycle begins. So in each case, there are differences, and we have to treat each case as an individual case and not just lump everything in one and say, well, this is domestic violence and this is child abuse and this is whatever other situation.
Right. Is it advised that everyone who experiences some sort of traumatic loss seek help?
Yes, because sometimes we have the tendency to just bottle everything in and not talk about it, and talk therapy helps. It helps with regard to finding avenues. So you may think, oh, I'm just a case that I'm helpless, nobody can help this situation, but you know what you're supposed to do. But just having that person support you and show you, okay, this is an avenue that you can use to empower yourself and get out of the situation, your present situation, to your preferred situation. So yes, it is advisable that if there's a situation that you think that you can't handle, or you think that you just need somebody there, you should seek help.
Are support groups quite effective, do you think?
Yes, they are. They are, because in a support group, you're allowed to talk and identify with other persons and their experiences. So although your experience may be similar, that person may have done something differently that you never thought about. So within the support group, you're in this circle that you feel comfortable, that you can express and various avenues. Yeah. You can explore various avenues, and
you have someone to relate to, so you feel, okay, well, it's not just you. You're not the only one going through this. Let's talk about the actual career itself. Is it just a job, or I think you would need to have a passion for something like this?
Passion for something like this, because you have to remember the whole aspect of a social worker is to deal with persons as individuals with various issues from various backgrounds, and you have to be coherent enough and well able to know that this is really and truly a job that it entails a lot of emotions, it entails feelings, and if you don't have that passion to drive those emotions and those feelings, then you won't be successful at what you do.
But are there moments where you feel as though you're connecting so much with this person that it affects you as a person?
There are times, yes, we have clients that may come in that, yes, you feel as though you just have to do something about this one. But one of the things and a strategy that we use is self-care. And you have to learn your emotions and learn what are your pet peeves and things that you can handle and things you can't handle. So in an instance, a child abuse case might come in and you really think this is just too much, and we encourage referring. So you will go to the director or the supervisors and say, well, I really think I can't handle this one. Could it be assigned to somebody else? Because they understand as well that there are some things that we just like passionate about, and we will get emotionally caught up in that. So you have to know yourself as a social worker in order to effectively assist clients.
Do you find clients asking social workers if they've experienced something similar, hoping that they can relate?
Yes, there are some clients who would ask us if we experience this, or you understand how I feel, and so forth. So one of the things we don't do is we don't tell clients that, yes, I know what you're feeling, I can relate to what you're feeling, I understand how you're feeling, but I don't know how you're feeling, because in any situation you may feel one way and I will feel a different. So we have to remember that it's a very thin line between being a professional and being more than that with regard to those aspects of the question.
So it's all right. It's a professional job. What are the criteria? What sort of studies are required?
So you would be required to attend a university, a recognized university, one that is accredited, and obtain a BSc in social work or any social sciences.
Psychology.
So, yes.
Okay, but social work is what? Is a combination?
It's a combination of psychology, social work, various, and also all psychological areas.
Yeah.
It's a combination of all.
Do you need any sort of practical, like hours, face-to-face hours
within
as well?
within the time frame that you are studying. Some universities is 3 years, some is 4. In that time, you will be sent out to various agencies where you complete a minimum of 360 hours. So you actually get to do direct practice within that time, so that you will be somewhat prepared for when you come out with your degree and enter the world of
Do you think a lot of people are going towards this career?
I can't say offhand if there's a lot of persons, but I know that there are persons who express interest in it. With regard to wanting to assist persons, and there are courses in the majority of universities that are in Trinidad and Tobago right now with respect to social work. Yeah.
And we also have social workers at schools.
We have school social workers, medical social workers, psychiatric social workers, family service social workers.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the communities itself, and how do communities reach out to you? Is it that you place yourself in the communities and you'll go to families assessing them? How does it work?
Okay. So our office is open to everybody. We like to say at Family Services, we treat everyone from the womb to the tomb. Right. What we do is we have referrals from various places, as I told you, Children's Authority, Victim and Witness Support. We have the court sent persons, we have walk-in, we have all agencies, police officers, they will refer persons, various avenues. We have community outreaches, whereby we, at National Family Services, yearly we have parenting workshops, we have domestic violence workshops, we have it's Family Time, Let's Talk on various radio programs. So based on those things, the public they are made aware of our services, and we do not turn away anyone. The courts refer persons as well. We don't turn away anyone. So you can access us by walk-in, you can access us by telephone. So if you call our head office and you're located in Point Fortin, we have an officer there who we won't ask you to come to Port of Spain, but we'll ask you to go to the Point Fortin office for the initial intake, and then we'll proceed from there.
Yeah, you mentioned parenting workshops. What are these all about?
Okay, so this is just, well, we know that times are changing.
Is it where you teach parents how to be parents? Because we're hearing a lot of calls for that.
Yes, we have a workshop. It's usually 6 sessions, 1 or 2 days per week, and we teach, we have facilitators who would come in and they would give a background of things, different areas, like the parent that you are now, is it the same way that your parent was, social media influences, teenage pregnancy, those things that it's used that as a parent you may face, and how you deal with it, how the effective parenting styles, what you do, and those things. So, and you are certified at the end of it.
Really?
So
you can teach other parents as
so well, we don't encourage teaching other parents, but what we encourage is that you refer to us and we would do the facilitating. We don't only have it at that time. That time is like a general, for the general public. But if you as a client, we identify that you may need a little assistance in parenting, then we will guide accordingly at that time.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. It's definitely a pleasure chatting with you. We learned a lot here. I learned a lot. It was a great conversation. We hope to have more conversations like these. Yeah.